Hey everyone, my name is Jordan Lapira, and this is
Krisha Chowdhury.
So we're both third year medical students from the Alabama College of Osteopathic Medicine. We're both interested in the field of pediatrics, and we just wanted to share with you a PowerPoint presentation on car seat safety. We believe that this presentation is very important, especially for first-time parents.
So, motor vehicle accidents are one of the leading causes of death in children, and yet it's the second most preventable cause of death, also, just behind poisoning.
And so we just wanted to share a couple of statistics about car seat safety. A study done by the Center for Disease Control, especially in 2019, found that about 600 patients, children under the ages of 12, were actually died from motor vehicle accidents, and another 91,000 suffered injuries. And what they found was that about 40% of these deaths and injuries were caused because of improper restraint use for children. And so another way you can think about this is that about 40% of these deaths and injuries could have been preventable. What they also found is that regardless of what type of booster seat or car seat that you used, by far you found a significant reduction in death and mortality just by using car seats or booster seats. And that was about 50% reduction throughout all the different types of car seats. And so the main goals of this presentation are basically just to educate you guys on car seat safety for children, show you guys the guidelines and the appropriate usages for the different types of car seats and booster seats and why they're important, as well as provide you with some additional resources on finding the right car seat for your children. And so why do car seats work? And so there's four main reasons why they work. First and foremost, they keep your child safe and within the car. Also, they help protect the head, the spine, and then the rest of the neck. And so why this is important is because these are areas of the body where if they get injured, you can have long-lasting consequences and injuries. Also, car seats and booster seats help hold the child where their shoulders and hips are, and those are pretty much the areas of the body that are the strongest. Also, they help disperse all the force throughout the body so not one single area of the body that's weak suffers the most damage. And so next, we're just going to go over the different types of booster seats and when they're appropriate to be used. And so these are just different pictures, and then we're going to go over when to use the different types.
All right, so first day you're a newborn, then you bring them home. They're going to start off with the rear-facing car seat, and this is going to be in the back seat. And then they'll stay in this seat with a harness attached to your car seat for about until they're 2 to 4 years old, or they reach the maximum height or weight for that particular car seat. And so I know it can be tempting to want to look at your baby, but please do not have them facing you. But a way for you to still be able to visualize them is to add a mirror. And here are a couple of kind of guidelines to keep in mind when you're choosing one. Kind of pay attention to if that particular mirror is going to fit your headrest in your particular car. Also look at what type of strap attachments will fit around your particular car seat headrest. Make sure it's lightweight, just in case they were to go flying. You don't want a heavy object to injure anyone in the car, and then make sure it's shatterproof. And autoguide.com and whattoexpect.com are a couple of sites that provide some particular mirrors that kind of keep these guidelines in mind. And so the pinch test can kind of apply across the board for all the car seats that we're going to mention. What you want to do is just pinch a little bit of the material of the strap. So if you're able to pinch some material, this means it's too loose, and you should retighten the strap and then check again with the pinch test. And then here are a couple of options, particularly for the rear-facing car seat. Look to see if there's any of these indicators on yours and make sure that it's in the correct position so that it's properly placed in your car. Okay, and so then once they graduate from the rear-facing car seat, now they'll move on to the forward-facing. And so usually this will be around 2 to 4 years of age until they're about 5. And they'll stay in this car seat until they reach the maximum height or weight limits of that car seat. And then here's just some things to keep in mind when they're in this forward-facing car seat. Make sure that you hook and tighten the car seat to the tether. Make sure the harness straps are at or above your child's shoulders. Make sure the chest clip is buckled at about the armpit level. And then make sure the harness straps are snug with, again, that pinch test.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the booster seats. So once your child graduates from the forward-facing car seat, you're now able to start using the booster seat. So the main goal is to make sure that you guys are following the manufacturer's guidelines. Once you reach the appropriate weight and height for the forward-facing car seat, you're now able to use the booster seat. And usually this happens between ages 6 and 9. And so the main thing that you want to take aware of the booster seat is proper use of the booster seat. So when you start using the seat belt with the booster seat, you want to make sure that the lap belt is sitting properly on their upper thighs, and then that the chest restraint is sitting on their chest and not on their neck or their face. If it is landing on their neck or their face, or the lap belt is on their abdomen, that means that they're not ready to use the booster seat yet. And then once you graduate the booster seat, you're now able to remove the booster seat and then just start using the individual seat belt. And usually this happens around the ages 9 through 12. And again, similarly with the booster seat, when the patient or when the child is sitting on the car seat or the seat of the car and they're starting to use a seat belt, you want to make sure that the lap belt is again on their upper thighs and that the chest belt is on their chest and not their neck or their face. And so this next slide is just showing you a picture of the proper use of seat belt and when to know when the child is secured.
And so here's just kind of the overall 5 steps of what Jordan mentioned. Again, make sure the seatbelt's between the shoulder and the neck. It shouldn't be falling off, and it shouldn't be up on their neck also. Make sure that there's no space between your child's lower back and the seat. Sometimes they'll kind of scooch to the edge, which is good. We want their knees at the edge of that seat, but sometimes then there'll be a space in the back, and we don't want that. And then lastly, make sure that your child stays and follows these guidelines for the entire trip. You don't want 5 minutes into your drive to the grocery store that suddenly they move that shoulder strap behind them and only have the seatbelt across their thighs. And so here are just some 3 guidelines to determine when your child's able to move to the front seat. So the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends about 13 and under to stay in the back seat. As far as height goes, about 4'9" is the height to kind of pay attention to, and then at least 100 pounds. And the reason for this is that kind of these 3 things, the location, why do we want them to stay in the back is because it's a lot more safer. As far as when a car accident occurs, when they're in the back seat, they're not going to take on as great of an impact as if they were in that front seat. Also, the airbag is also a source for a lot of serious injuries in a child. Airbags are actually designed for a 140-pound man, and so if you put a child that's barely 100 pounds, and maybe they are 4'9", this airbag is not designed for them, and it's probably going to cause a lot of injury to them if they're in that front seat. And then lastly, bone development. Let's say you have maybe an 11 or 12-year-old, right height, right weight, but their bones are going to be a lot more different than yours or mine. They don't have the same bone development and strength in their bones as us, and so make sure to keep those things in mind, even if they check off those previous 3 guidelines that we mentioned before. And then here's some resources to just kind of cover anything that we mentioned and maybe you forgot, you can look back at these. The CDC is a great resource to kind of find like car seat safety for not only you, but also grandma and grandpa, and anyone that's riding in the car. SafeKids.org is also a great site to kind of find particular information about child safety. And here's the QR codes that we linked to these resources so you can scan it real quick. And healthychildren.org is another great site. The American Academy of Pediatrics actually helps run this one, so you will always have up-to-date information. And then finally, the American Academy of Family Physicians.org also will have information that's up to date and also about and referring to pediatrics.
And so here's another great resource that y'all can use. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration actually has an amazing website that will allow parents, that'll give them the opportunity to find the right car seat for their children. And it's as easy as basically putting your child's birth date, how tall your child is, and how much your child weighs. And then after you input that, it'll show you the right car seat or booster seat to use, given that child's age, weight, and height. Finally, the Alabama Public Health also gives you a good resource for finding the affordable car seats and booster seats for patients on either Medicare or on food stamps. And it's as easy as calling the phone number located at the bottom of this slide. They offer monthly car seat clinics where they give you licensed technicians that'll help you assemble and properly install your car seats. They'll also check if you're using the correct booster seat or car seat for your child. And they offer 4 locations throughout Alabama, in Birmingham, Mobile, Tuscaloosa, and Huntsville. So this is a really good resource if car seats are too expensive and you need more affordable options. And so we just wanted to end with a few words of wisdom. The risk of injury and death to children, and especially kids 12 years and younger, is not worth the little amount of time you could take to properly install and ensure that they're properly restrained. And so we just want to make sure that you guys are buckling up. Thank you.
Thank you.